2024's newest Cthulhu-inspired monster horror film Dark Depths thriller arrives. The 1-kilometer-deep mine cave is shocked to find a mysterious tomb. Unknown horror creatures were accidentally awakened, miners died one after another. The degree of despair is comparable to the Darkness invasion. The story takes place in a mine in northern France in 1856. A miner smashed through the wall and discovers a huge cave inside, thinking he has found more mineral resources, but turns around to find that the canary has suddenly died. The man senses something amiss and quickly gathers everyone, because in 19th century European mines, canaries represent good fortune. To be safe, the miners find a master and ask him to find a solution. The master was seen chanting a few words to the object in his hand before lighting the candle and entering the cave. Suddenly he hears an abnormal sound and looks up to see a fleeting claw. The master is so scared that he drops the candle and turns to run, but accidentally falls, causing the cave to completely collapse, trapping everyone inside, and the mine is closed until it is reopened 100 years later. But on this day, a man named Berthier comes to the mine. Having been commissioned to do research deep in the mine, Berthier went straight to the owner of the mine and made his intentions known. At first, the boss wants to refuse, but Berthier gives him an offer he can't refuse. For the sake of the money, the boss reluctantly agrees, and for safety, he arranges for a few miners to go into the mine with him at an extra cost. Soon, the group sets off in the elevator, but they don't know that this will be a one-way trip to hell. After reaching a depth of 930 meters underground, Berthier uses the instruments he carries to find a place and says that his research is likely right below, and he wants to blast this section open with explosives. Although everyone is skeptical, they don't think too much about it, and under Roland's arrangement, they place the bombs. After an explosion, a bottomless pit appears before their eyes, but seeing this, the miners are afraid of danger and start to back out. Roland wants to know what exactly is down there that is worth all this fuss, but Berthier refuses to reveal any information, and seeing no one taking the lead, he takes the lead himself. After confirming it's safe below, the miners follow with peace of mind. Unexpectedly, the space here is so large, and the smooth structure doesn't look naturally formed. This makes Roland think of the horrifying legend that circulated here 100 years ago, where dozens of miners were buried in the mine due to an accident, and the rescue team couldn't find a single corpse at the time. If the legend is true, they may have been trapped here. Hearing this, everyone becomes even more afraid, but Berthier walks into the depths of the cave on his own, and by the time the others catch up, there is no trace of Berthier. At this point, a fork appears ahead, and since they don't know which path he took, Roland has no choice but to order them to split up. He takes Miguel to the right, while Louis and Santini take Amir to the left. The three of them walk while calling out Berthier's name, but unfortunately, they don't get any response. As they prepare to continue deeper inside, Santini, who is walking in front, suddenly discovers something. It turns out to be a dried-up corpse. From the equipment on his body, it's not hard to see that this person is a miner from 100 years ago. Just as they guessed, the unfortunate miners were indeed trapped here. The greedy Louis immediately starts rummaging through the corpse, wanting to see if there are any valuable treasures, but Amir finds a strangely shaped stone in the corpse's hand, and Louis immediately snatches it and keeps biting it in his mouth. But it turns out to be just an ordinary stone, while Amir discovers that the stone walls nearby are covered in red writing, seemingly the last words left by this miner before his death. After reading it, the two can't help but feel a chill down their spines. The next second, Louis's prank nearly scares them to death. After calming down, the three return to the previous three-way intersection, planning to meet up with Roland and the others. At this time, Roland has already found Berthier. When Amir and the other two arrive, they find Berthier taking photos of the wall. It turns out that what he was looking for is behind this wall, but this time, Roland refuses to blast unless they tell him what's inside. Berthier believes it's the greatest discovery in history. Roland hesitantly agreed, but to be safe, they had to leave right away when they got the stuff. Berthier agrees, and Miguel begins the blasting. Once the smoke clears, another brand new cave appears before their eyes. This seems to be an ancient tomb, with strange inscriptions carved all over the pillars, and behind a stone door, they also find many skeletons. In the center is a stone coffin with a peculiar shape that sends shivers down one's spine, as if something wants to crawl out. At Roland's urging, Berthier quickly takes photos, and then the group immediately leaves. But when they arrive at the previous exit, they find that Polo has brought down a mining horse. Just then, the horse suddenly becomes restless and uneasy, breaking free from its restraints and running into the dark depths. As if sensing some danger, the next second, a collapse suddenly occurs at the exit. The unlucky Santini doesn't have time to dodge and his legs are crushed. Although everyone rescues him in time, his legs are completely disabled. Even worse, the collapse just now has completely buried the exit, which also means they are trapped here. The angry Roland blames everything on Berthier, saying it's because of his damn research that everyone is in danger, but at this point, they can only look for other exits. However, while the others are treating Santini's wounds, Amir discovers that Louis and Polo are missing. He goes to the tomb room from earlier and finds the two preparing to open the stone coffin because they think there must be valuable burial objects inside. But Amir is afraid of danger and says they should leave immediately, but the two are clearly blinded by money, and Louis even tells Amir to help him. The three of them use all their strength, but it doesn't budge. Just as the two are exhausted, Amir accidentally discovers a hexagonal recess above the stone coffin. He suddenly thinks of the stone he picked up earlier, so he quickly puts it into the recess. Unexpectedly, it fits perfectly, and with a light twist, it opens. The three excitedly push open the coffin lid and find that there are indeed many valuable treasures inside. It's just that they don't know that the terrible thing has been awakened. Amir is about to tell the others about this, but Louis obviously won't agree and quickly stops him. He doesn't want to share these treasures with everyone else. He punches Amir in the stomach, threatening him not to tell, while Amir takes the opportunity to slip away. Just as the two finish dividing the gems and are about to leave, a terrifying scene occurs. A claw suddenly extends out from the stone coffin, and the skeletal monster slowly rises. Sensing something unusual, the two turn around to look and quickly run away in fright. Amir has just heard a scream when he sees the two running over. Feeling something is wrong, he quickly follows. The others see the three returning in fear and quickly ask them what happened, but before they can answer, the pursuing monster reaches out its claw towards Polo. By the time the others catch up, the monster is long gone, and they only see Polo's mutilated corpse hanging on the stone wall. The gruesome scene terrifies everyone. Roland immediately questions Berthier about what that thing was just now, but Berthier didn't know much about it. All he knew was that the sarcophagus was very old, that it contained a god, that those were its devotees, and that this place was an altar dedicated to it. Just then, Louis suddenly realizes that the injured Santini is still in place. Worried that he is in danger, everyone quickly returns. At this moment, Santini also happens to hear an unusual sound, but it's pitch black ahead, and he can't see anything. He wants to reach out and grab the nearby mining lamp, but it's to no avail. He can only use Berthier's camera to investigate. Although it's just a moment, he vaguely sees a human-shaped figure approaching Santini. Instantly panicking, he quickly changes to the second light bulb. This time he clearly sees what the monster looks like. He changes to the third one. When Roland and the others rush back, they just happen to see the monster grabbing Santini and brutally dismembering him in front of them. Seeing this scene, the people are more angry than afraid. They rush up, and the monster disappears into the darkness. The atmosphere of fear spreads again. Everyone quickly gathers together to discuss what to do next. Berthier suggests returning to the tomb room again. Perhaps the exit is hidden in those inscriptions because the people who built this place must have left an exit when constructing it. With no other option, everyone can only pin their hopes on Berthier. Soon they arrive at the tomb room again, and Berthier begins to translate the inscriptions on the pillars. After finding some clues, they continue to go deeper. Before long, they come to a place similar to a prison, but the people locked inside are not prisoners but sacrifices to be offered to the monster. Through the inscriptions on the walls, they learn that the monster's name is Soul Eater. Suddenly, there is a sound behind them. The group hurriedly walks further in, only to find that the inside is exactly the same as the outside. But Amir sees a different place. There is a large amount of blood on the stone pillars, apparently just left behind. The blood extends all the way to the hole in front. Berthier is in front, and Amir follows closely behind, not expecting that the owner of the blood is actually the horse that went missing just now. But while the people outside are not paying attention, Berthier decisively pulls the switch and closes the stone door of the cave. It turns out he knows the clue to getting out is in this cave. Once the people outside know the way out, he definitely won't survive for 3 seconds. After all of this was caused by him, and so many miners have died. He does this completely to protect himself. At this moment, Roland and the others are trying to pry open the stone door. thinking the exit is inside, but the stone door is too heavy. Soon, Betrayal successfully finds the way out on the stone wall, but just as the two are about to get up and leave, Amir discovers that the horse's corpse has started to move. He is surprised and tells Betrayal about it, completely unaware that danger is about to come. As the horse's body is torn open, they only then discover that the monster is hiding inside. However, Betrayal is not only unafraid but even takes the initiative to approach the monster and says some strange words, and the monster embraces him. Betrayal, who has close contact with the monster for the first time, appears very excited because all his research is related to this monster. Like those believers also worship the monster as a god, but the next second, Amir is so scared that he wants to leave, but he finds that the switch has malfunctioned. He can only call for help loudly. Finally, with the efforts of Roland and the others, the stone door is successfully opened. Amir doesn't forget to pick up the dropped notebook as he climbs out. After all, it contains a record of the way out. Amir can't hold back anymore and tells the truth. Although Betrayal is the beginning of everything, if it weren't for the greedy Louis insisting on opening the stone coffin and taking away the treasures inside, so many people wouldn't have died. Seeing that the exposed Louis still wants to deny it, the gems in his backpack won't lie. The furious Miguel swings a punch at him. Seeing this, Roland hurriedly stops him and at the same time tells Louis that these gems no longer belong to him but are compensation for the families of those who died. At this point, Louis has no choice but to accept, but Amir says he knows the way out and immediately leads the three towards the exit. However, they don't know that the stone door simply can't stop the monster. Amir is studying the notes left by Betrayal when he suddenly hears a sound. Everyone quickly turns off all the lights, trying to hide from the monster's attack, but Louis thinks this is completely useless and turns on the mining lamp, only to find that the monster is right beside him. Seeing this, Miguel immediately rushes up with a weapon but has his throat slashed by the monster. Even Louis is dragged into the darkness. Only Roland and Amir escape by a fluke. The two quickly continue to search for the exit according to the notes. At this moment, out of guilt, Amir can't help but confess, indicating that he was also an accomplice in opening the stone coffin, but Roland tells him not to blame himself. The top priority is to find the exit, but when they arrive at their destination according to the instructions, they find that there is no exit here at all, only bones everywhere. Obviously, they are the remaining miners. All efforts have turned to dust, and the two sit on the ground in despair. Amir angrily throws the notebook on the ground, but when Roland picks up the notebook from the ground, he accidentally discovers another exit, the vertical shaft used by the followers to cast offerings. This vertical shaft should lead directly to the surface. The two rekindle their hope of survival and then pack up to set off. Unexpectedly, the monster suddenly appears at this time and takes Amir away. Roland wants to go and save him, but it's too late. Watching his subordinates die one by one, he can no longer hold it in, but after adjusting his mood, he has no choice but to set off again towards that vertical shaft. After unremitting efforts, Roland arrives at a place piled with bones, and right above is the exit he is looking for. Meanwhile, the captured Amir hasn't died yet. When he wakes up, he finds himself in a strange place. Amir carefully feels around. Seeing a red light ahead, he follows it in. What comes into view is an even larger cave, with a bonfire made of human bones in the middle, and that monster sitting on the stone chair behind, still holding the not quite dead Louis in its hand. Amir sees this and rushes to beg it to leave Louis alone, and asks what it really wants, to which the monster immediately responds, but Amir says he can't understand. Unexpectedly, it is because of these words that the monster removes Louis's head and slowly walks towards Amir as a way to communicate with him. It turns out that because Amir used the key to open the stone coffin, the monster needs Amir's soul to gain freedom, and in exchange, Amir will replace the monster as the next soul eater. Amir agrees on the surface, but in fact, he is already prepared to fight back. When the monster embraces him, he decisively uses the dagger in his hand to stab the monster. While the monster is in pain, Amir quickly runs away. Following a narrow passage, he accidentally arrives at that vertical shaft. Fortunately, Roland hasn't left. With his help, Amir successfully climbs up, but at the same time, the monster's roar is getting closer and closer. The two hurry and climb up with all their might. To prevent the monster from catching up, Roland places the few remaining explosives in the crevice along the way and then continues to climb up. When the fuse can no longer be extended, they quickly connect the detonator. Unexpectedly, at this moment, that monster also climbs up. Roland is about to detonate the explosives but finds that the handle is left behind. After a brief hesitation, Amir recklessly returns. Before the monster climbs up, he successfully retrieves the handle, but due to excessive nervousness, he tries several times without success in detonating it. Seeing the monster getting closer and closer, fortunately, at the critical moment, Roland arrives in time. After some operation, he finally prepares the detonator, but such a close distance also means that the two can no longer get out alive. Amir wants to tell Roland to leave quickly, but Roland does not intend to leave. He then presses the detonator with the determination to die.